last week, Putin came in from Alaska. I thought that was funny. We talked about that yesterday.
You said you thought he threatened him.
Trump is flexing on Putin.
Yes.
As soon as you walk out the plane, I fly over you with a whole bunch of bombers on land that was yours that I got for a discount because you were broke. So I feel like he was slapping him in the face, but you had a different take on it.
I didn't see it as a threat. That's for sure. However, Scott Bessent was like, oh, he was trying to flex on him. He was trying to remind him, hey, we've got all these toys. So it's if people think that Putin is going to be intimidated by that, they're out of their minds. It's like if you're walking into my house and I have an arsenal with bazookas, AK-47s, Glocks, like literally gun on gun on gun. And then you walk in and show me that you've got a really nice sword collection. Now, I know you also have a whole bunch of guns, but you're trying to flex on me with a sword? It's like, what? We have mutually assured global destruction aimed at each other with dead hand triggers.
Like if they announce yours are not bombs, mine's going off.
Bro,
like
this is like,
detonation.
look. If you're going to do that flex on Paraguay, okay, but doing it on Russia, this is all political theater from top to bottom. If Trump had said, listen, we're going to lift all the sanctions off of Russia. They're having a really hard time right now. This is an economic game. We want to get these guys back into a good position. I can see how we're going to end this thing. It's going to be fantastic. I'd be like, interesting. If Putin is signaling that economically, like, look, I'm really tired of this. This is becoming a problem. I see an off-ramp. I would buy that maybe we were making progress. But when you start talking, the thing that's getting Zelensky excited and bringing him to the table is that we're going to have some kind of Article 5-like guarantee. Now, for people that don't know what Article 5 is, admittedly, it's very broad. But it says if somebody attacks one of the members that has this protection, we will respond as we deem fit, meaning we could come in and like fucking drop troops on the ground. And now this is really on. We could drop nuclear weapons, whatever or we could send a strongly worded letter to the manager. That's why you want to be in NATO. It's like my brothers are going to come and whoop your ass if you do anything untoward. And that's why I want to be a part of NATO. And so they're saying, okay, look, we're never going to let them into NATO, but we're still going to roll up as the brothers and like kick the shit out of anybody that messes with them. That is the thing that he has a problem with. Putin. He does not have a problem with NATO as letters. So it's like, if it is NATO in practice, but just not in name, he is still going to be like, no. Putin is completely silent. Only Trump and Zelensky are like, yay, we're getting closer. Dude, he keeps saying that. I think that Trump really wants it to be true. I am very glad that Trump legitimately seems to be pursuing peace. I don't know if it'll come up later, but I love that Trump believes that this is his way to get into heaven. This is why religion is so useful. People will stop bad behavior and do good things because they believe that there is an all-seeing eye in the sky that will punish you for all of eternity if you do the wrong thing. So I've got no beef. If Trump is trying to end this war simply as a way to get into heaven, yeah, I'm here for it. The bad news is I don't think Putin is interested in ending the war as a way to get into heaven. Realpolitik, people. Realpolitik. Putin is going to keep pushing until he reaches sufficient force that will push back. He's not going to go, oh, yeah, I'm going to back out of my territorial ambitions, my desire to create this buffer zone of NATO because you guys are going to give him NATO protections without the name NATO on it. This is hopium. People want it to be true. I want it to be true. Whoa. Rough numbers, we've lost over 1 million human souls. Brutal.
Dead though. Like, shouldn't that impact the leader of the country? Like, a lot of young boys are dying. The person you have
to impact is Putin. When you look at Russia's history, and this is where people need to understand, culture matters a lot. Russia will cram as many people as they need to into the maws of death and destruction to make sure that they protect Mother Russia. They've done it over and over and over. It is a thing for them. That's where we're at. Like, yeah, they're losing people. They are prepared to lose a lot more. So says history. If you don't make this good for them in some way, I don't see why they would ever agree to this. If you look at what would Putin want to do to get his way, he wants to forestall as long as humanly possible deeper intervention on behalf of the US and Europe. What are you going to have to do? Show up to the meetings. You're going to have to be friendly, hint towards positive things. You're going to have to lay the flowers on the soldiers that died when America and Russia were allies. Somebody just explain to me, what does he get out of this? If people think that like, oh my God, they're just so broken. Look at how much oil India is now buying from Russia. Gobs and gobs and gobs. It went from like 1% to like 42%. And India's arbitraging it. They're just reselling it on the market. And they've made some untold number of billions of dollars just doing that arbitrage. Russia's like, yeah, much like Nick Fuentes, we have found a way to make money despite all of your sanctions. Once the
Russia's the Nick Fuentes of the world.
they are the super bacteria that if you don't kill all the way, like they will only get stronger. They become resistant. Russia is now sanction resistant. Maybe if you had done all these sanctions right out of the gate, you could have stopped them, but piecemealing it. And I've heard Trump like making noises to that effect. It's like, or maybe it was Bessent, but one of them was like, yeah, it takes a while for sanctions. Oh, in fact, it was Marco Rubio. What am I saying? That it takes a while for sanctions to like really have bite. Like, I don't know that we're going to get anywhere with that.
So that probably explains this clip that Charlie Kirk retweeted that talked about Putin said that if Trump were president in 2022, there would have never been a war.
I'd like to remind you that in 2022, during the last contact with the previous administration, I tried to convince my previous American colleague that the situation should not be brought to the point of no return when it would come to hostilities. And I said it quite directly back then that it's a big mistake. Today, when President Trump is saying that if he was the president back then, there will be no war. And I'm quite sure that it would indeed be so.
So are you just saying he's just doing this as Trump's ego? He's just trying to buy time?
Man, that is a really good question, because there's no way that he's unaware that that is like the thing that he could say to Trump that would be, I mean, this is like tickling his G-spot. Like, this is wild. This is exactly what he wants to hear.
Scribbling this in a notebook later, like Putin said.
Yeah, in hearts. That feels like him mapping Trump relatively well of like, okay, I know what this guy wants to hear. You caught Trump on a hot mic. I don't think it was a big deal because this is exactly the kind of thing that he would say on knowing that he's being recorded to the world. But he was like, he wants to do it for me. Like, he wants to end the war for me. That admittedly is a pretty wild thing to say. Like, he wants to stop killing people for me. If he thinks that you represent the sufficient force that's going to stop him, okay, like, I guess you could say that's for you, but it's really just about, I'm not going to get what I want by pushing into this. This is going to make things worse for me, so I'm going to back off. He's not going to do it for him. That's absurd. It just becomes a question of what's the like leverage that I'm going to get. And so if he's buttering Trump up, great, smart tactic. Exactly what I would advise anybody to do. I mean, this is 48 laws of power stuff. If you remove all the emotion and you don't listen to what people do, but instead you just look for the pattern in all of this is say the right thing, buy time, keep bombing.
Say the right thing, buy time, keep bombing.
Yeah,
that's dark.
That's their pattern.